and welcome back to Healthy Living. You can reach me at healthyliving.company, and there on my website, you will be able to see that I have several different products. I have this egg toast gumbo. So if you want those items, you have to contact me, send me a message, because I want to make it fresh. Now, the gumbo comes with rice and hot water cornbread. You can also reach me here at the Next Level Studios at 310-549-1113, 310-549-1113. Now, also, you can go to my website and you can watch the previous broadcast anytime if you missed one of the live broadcasts. So you can get your friends and family together and you guys can watch for the updates, because I make sure that I teach the true facts of the coronavirus. Okay. Now, also, there's Arbonne products there. You can go to my Arbonne link, click on Arbonne on my site, go to Arbonne. Those are pure beneficial products. They're better for you. They don't have all that crude oil in there like petroleum byproducts, mineral oil, or anything like that. No soy as well. So you can go there and do that. Now, the producer of this show is called TJAMZ. That's TJAMZ, TJAMZ. And you can reach me at tjamzmusic.com. There you see a whole host of list of songs you can write lyrics to, send them back to him, send him a message. You can also contact him here at the Next Level Studios at 310-549-1113, 310-549-1113. Now, he also does web design, so he does that as well. Now, for the facts for the coronavirus, I usually get my information from OSHA. I get it from the CDC website. I get my statistics from the World Meter news page. I also get it from the LA County webpage for healthcare workers. The science I'm going to give you, part of the science is coming from WSAV.com. That is how far can a cough travel. So I'm going to be going into that as we go along. Now, for the updates, coronavirus is novel virus, and novel just means new. So the COVID-19, 19 is because it started in December 2019. So that's why it's COVID-19. Now, it's also considered a severe acute respiratory syndrome virus. Also, there's MERS, MERS, which is the Middle Eastern Respiratory Syndrome virus. Now, all of the viruses that are coronavirus come from bats. That's where they originated from. They originated from Wuhan, China, in December 2019. That's what we know of. But I think it probably started sooner than that. But that's why it's COVID-19. It started in the animal market because they have a lot of live animals, so they thought it was animal to animal transfer, animal to person. But later it spread. It spread outside of China and U.S., so we know it's person to person spread. Destinations across the world. And you can get symptoms anywhere from mild to death. Now, who's vulnerable? It used to be limited to 65 and older, people with comorbidities. But you know what now? It has mutated, and anybody can get the coronavirus, okay? So, some of the severe comorbidities that you need to look out for, like if you have hypertension, you have chronic heart disease, lung disease, asthma, COPD, kidney disease, cancer, autoimmune, especially if you have chemotherapy treatment, your immune system is lower, so you can be easily attacked. So you want to make sure you protect yourself. Also, there's HIV. Those are autoimmune disease suppressant type of diseases, so you have to be careful with that. And obesity is a new known risk. Obesity tends to get you into those comorbidities like hypertension and lung disease and all those other problems, diabetes. So you have to be careful. And also, it makes it hard for your lungs to expand because of the excess weight. So you want to lose weight. You don't want to gain weight. Children and infants are also dying. So it's for everybody. Everybody's susceptible to the coronavirus, and it has actually mutated. So that's what happens as the disease goes on. It tends to mutate. So it has mutated. So everybody can be infected. With the children, they tend to have the Kawasaki type of syndromes, where they get chronic inflammation disease syndromes, and it attacks their organs, their kidneys, their heart, their lungs. They have symptoms like red rashes on their feet, the palm of their hands. They can get swollen tongues and looks like a big red strawberry, and it attacks their major organs, and that's how they can die, from a lot of swelling and inflammation in their organs. Now, also, according to Dr. Zing, chief physician, this is the one who was talking about how the kids, it's like a Kawasaki disease. It mimics it. Now, some of the symptoms for the coronavirus, you know, you have the mild symptoms, and it tends to mimic kind of like the flu symptoms. So don't just brush that off as flu symptoms. Like you get the cough, the fever. Now you can get more and runny nose, congestion. You know, usually those are symptoms when you have the flu, but it's also the symptoms for COVID-19. So you don't blow that off. You need to contact your provider if you have those things. Now, more severe symptoms include when you get short of breath, chills with repeated shakes. That's, you got chills and you're shaking constantly. Muscle pain, headaches. You have diarrhea, you have nausea, vomiting, you can get a sore throat, and new occurrences of loss of smell or taste. That's another significant symptom that you can have. So you have to be careful. Now, the WHO organization, which is the World Health Organization, on 3/11 declared this as a pandemic. It's obvious that this is airborne. It's not droplets, it's airborne. It started in Wuhan, China. It has run across 217 different countries and territories and internationally. So, for the current coronavirus updates, like I said, I'll go to the Worldometer webpage. So, we're like in the millions now, not thousands, but millions. So far as worldwide cases, we have 58,877,351. Deaths, we already passed that 1 million mark worldwide, where we have 1,392,000 and 189,000. That's terrible. Now, we do have significant people who do recover, which is 40,714,045 different patients who have tested positive that has recovered. Now, we don't even want you to get the coronavirus, because even after you have it, sometimes there's chronic illnesses that's developed from the coronavirus, so you don't want to get this at all. Now, the U.S. is leading in cases and deaths. The current cases is 12,548,465. Deaths, we passed the 250,000 mark. We're at 465. Brazil is the third leading in cases, but they're second in deaths. So cases, they have 6,053,806. And deaths, 169,022. So, the stats for the healthcare workers, this is from LA County. As different healthcare workers, there's 18,167 of us that have tested positive. And there's 527 new cases that just happened last week. Now, there's some times you're asymptomatic, meaning you have no symptoms of the coronavirus, but you still have it. That's like 10.9%. 2/3 of the cases were women. 68%. It used to be men, now there's women. Half are Hispanic and Latino, and 51% of some type of Spanish origin. It's actually 47%. Now the ages are from 39 to 49 years old. So that's young. So we're not talking about 65 or older now. We're talking about 39 to 49. Now the skilled nursing facilities and the long-term facilities continue to be the largest number of cases, which is at 32%, which includes the LVNs, the RNs, and the nurses' aides, which work close to those clients, right? And this is why they get the coronavirus. Other occupations include receptionists, service workers, IT, central processing. You're talking about the first responders like EMS, firefighters, law enforcement sources is 42% total. Now the total number of deaths in LA County is 107. 107 deaths. this is so saddening to hear that we are dying. The majority of those deaths are men in LA County, 56%, and it's between 50 to 64 years old. Now, Hispanics and Latinos are at 45%, and they also have known comorbidity, meaning the different chronic lung, heart diseases. That's at 83%. Now, from the skilled nurse facility, long-term care facility, 55% are from those facilities, and 43% continues to be the largest death for nurses. I've heard different people approach me, and while we're talking about it doesn't impact them. Oh, this is not serious, but people are dying, so it is serious. Just because you don't actually see it impact your family doesn't mean it's not happening. So you need to wear your mask and your goggles when you go out to protect other people, because you may be one of those asymptomatic people. Now, how far does a cough really travel? Okay, so per the WSAV.com website, according to Sid Berman, assistant professor of engineering at Florida Atlantic University, states that generates particles from 10 to 20 microns, which is roughly close to what the smallest droplet size when we cough, right? So droplets experiments travel the distance of at least 3 feet. This is droplets. Almost immediately. Now it keeps going. Now, within 5 seconds, the droplets were at 6 feet. Then in about 10 seconds, the droplets were at 9 feet. 9 feet is much greater than 3 feet and beyond, right? Which they recommend 6 feet. So whenever you can, you need to keep your distance more than 12 feet if possible. So it's already reaching 9 feet, and it continues to further out, and it continues to move slowly. So Berman says it continues to travel. The fog droplets are linear in the air, but keep moving forward, taking another 30 to 40 seconds to float another 3 feet, even past the 9 feet. So that's why we got the 12 feet, so it can move. So the 6 feet distance, and whenever you can, you need to get 12 feet or more if possible. That's what you need to do to stay safe. Therefore, you must practice proper respiratory etiquette. Coughing, you can cough. If you don't have your mask on, you should cough in a tissue, but you should be wearing your mask. That's the bottom line. But if you don't, you can cough in your tissue per CDC. You can cough in your elbow, inside your elbow. Make sure you throw that tissue in and wash your hands for at least 20 seconds. If you're out and about, get you a little bottle. You can order the little bottles online, so you can put some antibacterial soap. Put it in that bottle, stick it in your pocket, and then you can use it whenever you need it. It needs to be at least 60% or higher for the percentage of the alcohol that's in there and antibacterial substance in order to kill the bacteria. So remember, you have to keep rubbing your hands for at least 20 seconds or more. The most important thing is you keep rubbing it until it dries in your hand. Your hand is no longer wet. That's the most important. So wear your face coverings. Now, according to Eric Savoy, he's an engineer and professor at the Western University who studies fluid mechanics. His team, they wanted to figure out how far the coronavirus travels. And so what they did is they built a chamber so that they can determine it. They call it a cough chamber, so they can determine how far it travels. So according to him, the researchers found that when a person coughs, it doesn't, and they don't cover their mouth, there's almost no way you can avoid a cloud of germs that expels if you're standing directly in front of that person, even within 2 meters away. If a person coughs unobstructed means no mask. Obstructed is you got a mask on. So unobstructed, the cough jets, they then travel quite a long way. Even at 3 meters away, the jet is moving about in seconds, which is quite difficult to avoid. So you can be there, and it's going to last for hours. So you can still go through that cloud of mist of the coronavirus and still get infected. You can't hold your breath. So you think you hold your breath and you're done. No, you got to move away because that cloud keeps moving. Okay? The researchers, this is pulled from the CNN Health Well page, January 6, 2020. According to the researchers in Singapore agency Science, Technology and Research, use numerical models to stimulate the trajectory of drops expelled from a person who suddenly calls out outside and someone listening nearby. The researchers ran the stimulation with different droplet sizes, air temperatures, relative humidity, wind speed, and varying distances between the caller and the listener. The study suggests that wind speeds of 2 meters per second and or about 4 miles per hour travel distances from droplets around the sizes of 100 micrometers to 1,000 micrometers can reach 21.6 feet. 21.6 feet, respectively, at this is if the temperature degrees is at 86 degrees Fahrenheit. 21.66 feet, not inches, feet, because it keeps moving through the air, okay? Now, for 100 millimeter droplets, researchers found that it travels increases from about 3 feet without wind to about 22 feet at a wind speed of about 6.7 miles per hour. This is not the first time that you are hearing about this. This has been tested, many different scientific research. You can Google it online and you can see how far it goes. Now, in May 2020, a separate researcher out of Cyprus that published it in the Journal of Physics and Fluids found that light breezes can carry some droplets as far as 18 feet. So here we are, way past the 6 feet. So it can travel all the way from 18 to 21.6 feet before it drops to the ground. So this is truly airborne. Okay? Now, retrieved from MSN Lifestyle's webpage, large respiratory droplets containing pathogens like influenza, like the flu, right? They can travel 6 feet. When people are sick and coughing and sneezing, according to CDC. Now, if you're sick, stay home. Don't be out and about and don't go around people. Stay home. Researchers use high-speed video towards 100,000 frames per second to record sprays of mist as a human coughs and sneezes, finding the smaller droplet particles travel as far as 2.5 meters horizontally, which means from left to right, through the air, and that more than 8 feet of the study recorded smaller airborne droplets spraying 13 to 20 feet vertically. That's up and down. So you got it going horizontal and you got it going vertical. Vertical is anywhere, meaning it's up and climbing into the air this way, and then it goes across this way. So the droplets that sneeze and cough, they're moving in 2 different separate directions. They're moving outward and they're moving upward. Okay? Now, researchers noted that theoretically, they're high enough to enter the travel some ceilings, ventilation systems in some buildings. And this is when they found that research back when they were in the restaurants, when the people were eating and gathering, they kind of figured out that it stayed in the air and it moved across the entire restaurant. That's why I don't understand why they're still doing 20% in these restaurants. It's still going to travel regardless. And you only need one person to infect the entire room in a restaurant. So think about that when you're going out. Now, what happens is it gets into this cloud, the vapors, when you cough or you sneeze, gets into this cloud. It moves upward and direct force, and the fluid experts on an object that is partially and completely immersed in fluid. And that extends the reach where you can go horizontal, you can go vertical. So this is how it travels, which makes sense because we have a pandemic, right? so it travels in the air. Now, the particles that are detected for medium in about 2.7 hours. It can stay in that area for 2 to 2.7 hours. So even after that person leaves, they've left their coronavirus in the air, and up to 2.7 hours, if you come into it, you can still be exposed to the coronavirus. Now, they say more research is needed, but this is what happens. If someone sneezes or coughs on or near you, it is normal to feel completely grossed out about the foreign germs that may be traveling right when you're around, and so you feel really scared about it. Yes. So someone who is ill, sneezing or coughing or near you can boost your chances of getting sick. So if someone's coughing by you, get the heck away from them. And you definitely don't want them standing like towards you. Like if they're on the other side of the room but they're facing you, you definitely want to move away from that very quickly, because you can see how far it moves forward, upward, and across, right? This is what happens. So that increases your chances of getting sick. So this is true. Even if you hold your breath, like I was stating earlier, the particles will stay there for many minutes, and in some cases, many hours. And you can't hold your breath long enough to avoid that. So that means you're going to be exposed. Now, Keith Roach, MD, Associated Professor in the Clinical Medicine of New York, Pennsylvania Presbyterian Hospital, he said cold rush away from the scene, but the particles may still be on their clothes. So you know how they say wash your hands, right? So you can touch your clothes and you wipe in your eyes, your nose, and your mouth, and you can still get the coronavirus. That's why they say when you're out and about, don't touch your hands, don't touch your mouth, don't touch your nose, because we already know the coronavirus survives on objects, survives on clothing even. Wow, so this is a new thing. We didn't know that it survived on clothing, so this is new. Okay, reason COVID-19 is contagious is because they don't have a cure right now, and it's never existed before, so no one has immunity to it. And as we can see already, there's a mutant type of coronavirus that is happening, and that's what happens. Just like the flu, it keeps changing every year. It keeps mutating. That's what it does. It wants to survive, so that's what it does, right? So what else can you do to avoid getting sick? Good hygiene is essential. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. So teach your kids to wash their hands. Sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, happy birthday. I will survive, whatever you can. Get them used to it. Have them practice washing their hands. Teach them so they'll know how to do it and get into that practice. Kids tend to pick up things and put their fingers in their mouth a lot, so you definitely want to teach them to wash their hands. This is a very important method, that practice that you can do is washing your hands. If you don't have, like I said, get the bottle of hand sanitizer, get you a little bottle, take it with you so you can wash your hands. And if you're ever not sure, wash them again. It's better to be safe than sorry, right? But it has to be at 60% alcohol in there in order to be effective. Now, one thing to know about waterless soap, though, if you change your baby's diaper and there's a bowel movement there, the waterless soap is not going to clean away that E. coli because the molecules are too large. You have to get to soap and water to clean that. Anything other than that, you can clean your hand. But avoid touching your eyes, your nose, your mouth. And see, this is why I said that we need the goggles to protect us from possible pathogens that can enter into our eyes. Now, I'm going to talk to you about the goggles I was just talking about. So you can order these anywhere, online, and you want to make sure that the goggles are protecting your eyes. They're tight-fitting, so you can't share goggles because they are form-fit to your face. So you want to make sure that there's a good seal there. Even from the side, there's a seal. So you want to make sure you get the kind that says no fog. And if you do wear glasses, you get the kinds with glasses. Or I would suggest that you even take a magnifying glass or card with you so you can use that instead of having to put your glasses on. Because you want to keep your goggles secure. So you want to make sure you have the ones that are indirect vented, meaning the sides, the openings, or non-vented. So that's very important. Now for work, we have goggles, right? These are our goggles. They're what we wear as healthcare people. And then we have our masks. We have our N95, which is fit tested. We have to be fit tested for our masks. So you won't have that as the public. Okay? You have to be fit tested. And then you want to make sure you do your fingers like this to make sure you fit it very well. Another thing that we can have, and even you can get, is face shields. You can get a face shield to cover the front of your face. Like if someone's coughing, at least it'll hit the face shield and it won't hit you, right? Now, another thing that we have is gowns. We have water-resistant gowns that we wear, but that's because we're in the hospitals, right? So we put those on as well. You will have to put these on. But then also, we have the gloves. We have gloves that we have to wear. You can purchase your own gloves. You can purchase them online. So you can do that. Also, you see it where for the general public, you won't have the N95, right? So you're going to have the surgical mask that you may have, right? So you put the surgical mask on. A lot of these, you still take your hand and fit it there. Make sure it's down over your chin, right? The most important thing is to make sure you're covering your nose. I see a lot of people walking around and their mask is under their nose. You're not protecting yourself. You still can breathe it in through your nose. So you want to make sure that you have it covering your nose. Now, also, there's different types. There's cloth mask that you can wear, right? As long as it's covering your nose and down over your chin, that's fine. Now, you can, if you don't have the money, you can also make a mask. You get the elastic stretch bands, right? And all you need is a piece of cloth. You can get an old t-shirt, cut the bottom of it off, square piece, right? And then you fold it in half. And then you fold quarters on each side coming down, like so, depending on what size you want. And then you take the elastic bands and you put it over the end and fold it over. You do the same thing on the other end, fold it over, and then you grab the bands and you have a mask. So you have a mask. It's easy, right? So there's no reason to not protect yourself. You can even do it with paper towels. I did this when I went to an office, and I did the same thing. And I just did double ply. I did double pieces, right? And I did the same thing. And you can do the same thing, and you can make your own mask, even from paper towels. So if you can't afford it, there's no reason, because you have paper towels. You can do the same thing, so you can be protected. So no matter, anytime you go out of your home, you have a mask you can wear. Okay? Voila. So, cover your face and get you some goggles, okay? Because it's been proven research that the coronavirus does enter into the eye. So, I want you to be thoroughly protected when you go out. You need to have a mask and you need to have the goggles on, okay? Now, in some households, if somebody's sick, then you need to isolate them. Put them into isolation in one room. They have to call you before they come out. They have to have their mask on. If you have two bathrooms, leave that bathroom for that particular person, and the other household can use the other bathroom. If not, then you have to make sure you clean the multi-touch areas like doorknobs and cabinet knobs and sink knobs and stuff like that. But you want to make sure that you keep them isolated for 14 days. Also, keep in the house the coronavirus as well is that if you suspect it, then you should quarantine. Now, finally, Dr. Greenhiger recommended prioritizing lifestyle measures that can help your immune system work better as much as possible. Like sleep, getting adequate sleep. Sleep is so important. That's our way of our body recouping when we sleep. So sleep is very important. What's so important is non-interrupted sleep. So I wouldn't suggest, talk to your doctor if you have problems sleeping. I wouldn't just start taking Ativan because I don't want you to get addicted. But you can get melatonin. It's online, and this is 10 milligrams. And usually you take it an hour before you go to sleep, that you want to go to sleep, and then you sleep, and it's uninterrupted. So that's the most important, is get uninterrupted sleep. Also, you can protect others from your cough and sneeze. Like I said, if you're sick, stay home. Regardless to what, when you go out, you just want to just assume everyone has coronavirus. Then that way you wear your mask and you wear your goggles. So this is serious, and this is why we keep having an increase in death and cases, is because people are not listening. They think if it hasn't impacted their household, then it's not necessary, but it is necessary. And it keeps you from spreading illness to everybody else. Wash your hands is so very important. Washing your hands is so very important, right? When you're coughing. And make sure that if you are coughing, just stay home so you don't get anybody else sick. Now, we know that the coronavirus, when you sneeze and cough, it's not droplets, it's airborne. Airborne is smaller particles, finer particles. Droplets are larger. So the smaller particles are the ones that just flow through the air. And like I said, it goes from left to right, and it can rise up vertically. This is why we have the pandemic, because it's airborne, it's not droplets. Now, also, I discussed the different science that shows you how the small airborne particles can travel. So you have to make sure you practice your social distancing. Now, in the work areas, if no one is there taking your temperature or doing COVID screening, not enforcing social distancing, then you're not helping your employees. You need to have an enforcer to make sure all those things are done to make sure your staff are safe. So that's what's very important. So make sure when you're out in the public that you're making sure you keep your own social distancing. A lot of times there's signage in the floors, so make sure you look at those colors and be on those colors that'll help remind you of social distancing. So if no one is there doing that, then remind yourself, start practicing. Cover your mouth and your nose. Wash your hands, right? Now, another thing that the mask is what we call a blocking device, right? It obstructs it. It keeps it from just spewing out, but it still can come out. So don't think that because you have a mask on that you should be close, less than 6 feet closer to that person. No, it still comes out, and it can still go up to 3 feet or more and keep traveling. So you're still not safe. So please make sure you're keeping your social distancing. Now, also, you want to make sure that you protect your immune system. Try to build it up. So for immune building, you can take zinc supplements to help you build your immune. But there's also natural ways like black berries. And I know people, if you don't eat it right away, then your berries spoil. But you can clean them and freeze them and take them out when you need them. That's what I do to keep mine going. Also, you can have avocados. Avocados are very good for building up zinc in your system, as well as the broccoli. Also, cashews and almonds are very good for that too, to help build that up. Now, the coronavirus doesn't like acid, so you can eat oranges, lemons, pineapples, all of those acid. Even avocado is a good acid supplement. So avocados is just a great thing to eat for the acid as well as for the zinc, building up that immunity. So those things are better for you to build your immunity. Also, you want to take your vitamin C, take it every day. You need to get up to 1,000 milligrams, and it works well with the colds. As we know, vitamin C is usually the key product in decreasing your cold symptoms when you get the flu. So vitamin C is very good. B complex is very good because you want to keep building up your immune system. You want to keep your red blood cells healthy as well. Red blood cells carry your nutrients, and the blood is carried through. It carries your nutrients and it carries your oxygen. So you want to keep that built up. You want to make sure you have vitamin D. They did studies that vitamin D also helps with building the immune system. So you want to take vitamin D. If you're taking your calcium, which is good, it can be, you need that for having strong bones and also your muscles to have strong contraction and keep them healthy. But vitamin D usually comes with calcium and help pick it up so you can absorb that. So you want to get those products as well. Also, there's studies about mouthwash. You know, rinsing and gargling in the mornings when you get up. They have found that mouthwash kills the coronavirus in a petri dish. So they're doing more research on that. So it doesn't matter which mouthwash, just gargle after you brush your teeth. You know, cough a little bit, gargle, and you can do that every morning. Now, as far as your sinuses, you want to clean your sinuses out. Nanny Med, there's different other products online you can use where you have the flushes for the sinuses. You fill it up to the line and you put it in your packet. Don't try to make your own because then you're going to cause damage to your mucus linings in your nose. You have to get what's already prepared that's geared to the proper amounts. So you just swish your nose out, it cleans it. It cleans it out, you're sneezing, you're getting all that mucus out of your sinuses, and you feel so much better. So that's a very good product to do, too, as well. Now, also, you want to make sure that you're washing your products when you bring them in, even your mail. Make sure you wash your hands after you do that, because the coronavirus stays on paper, it stays on metal, it stays on plastic. So you want to wipe all your items down. So you can get a towel and soak it with antibacterial soap and wipe it down. You can make a bleach water solution. You can make your own bleach spray. It's cheaper than buying all that, spending all the money for the other products. All you need is 1/3 bleach and the rest 2/3 of water, and you have your own bleach spray. So you can spray your different products, wipe down your different common items, touch items, knobs, doors, stuff in your bathroom, right? And then also to let you know about money. Money is also dirt. Think about how many people touch money throughout the day, or how long this dollar survives. It goes from person to person, right? And I know you can wash money because I see it all in the criminal movies. You can wash your money, so you can wash that. So also your keys, your phone, they say you touch your phone well over 500 times a day, depending on how active you are on your phone, your cell phone. So you want to make sure you're wiping down your phone, and especially the edges and the ridges, wipe it down because we're using it and we're touching this frequently. So whatever you can think of that you're touching, then you need to wash it. And after you finish with your mail or your groceries, wiping it down, make sure you wipe your hands, wash them really well, and make sure they're clean. I usually do it twice to make sure, because you want to do front and back. And if you have long fingernails, you need to get a brush and brush it to make sure that you're cleaning out your fingernails as well. So these are different ways that you can protect yourself while you're out and about or while you're in your home. Okay. And now, as I said, the N95s are pretty rare for us, even as healthcare workers. If you don't have a provider, make sure you call 211 and you can find the provider in your area. Make sure you go get tested. Don't wait. Don't assume. Go get tested, because we have a lot of asymptomatic people that are really testing positive for the coronavirus. So they can be spreading it, don't even know they're spreading it. So if you start to have symptoms, then you need to be tested. You can go online and find out where's your nearest testing location in your area so that you can get tested. Now, please be mindful that in some places they have limited testing areas, so it may take a while for you to get through the line so you can get tested. But get tested. The holidays is coming up, and every time at the holiday, we have increased cases of coronavirus, increased hospitalizations, and increased death. So just know that we're like 14 weeks behind that event, and that's why then it starts to increase with the infection. So you want to make sure that this year, if you love your loved ones, you'll stay just in your household for you to be safe so you can see them next year, right, until we get the vaccine going. They only recommend 2 or 3 different households that are family members, and when you do interact, you have to interact outside and no longer for 2 hours. So you have to be on the patio or somewhere outside if you're going to interact with people outside your household. So you want to make sure that you heed to those orders, because you don't want anyone getting sick or you getting sick, your household getting sick, because you allow some other family members in to visit. Because what do family do? We hug, we kiss, that's what we do, right? So you want to protect yourself and limit that, especially for the older adults with comorbidity, which is an increased risk for them. So you want to stay safe, and you want to protect everybody that you love. And friends, we just can't gather. We just can't do it. So we're going to take a break, and when I come back, I'm going to show you some exercises you can do to stay healthy. Because a lot of people are at home, they're stressed out, so exercise is a good way to deal with your stress. Okay, so I'll see you in a couple of minutes. All right. welcome back. So I'm going to show you some exercises you can do while you're sitting, lying, or standing. Okay, so we know it's good for anybody to do any exercises. Get your children involved too, because a lot of the kids are having problems with obesity as well. So if you're a beginner, you can start with your back to the arm of the couch. Make sure you hold your tummy in when you do your exercises, and you want to roll with your arms, right? And then when you get more advanced, scoot down, right? Do the same thing. Hold in your tummy, right? Work your arms, same time, until you get to where you're all the way down. And you want to make sure, because you want to make sure you're using your core, which is your abs, not your neck. You don't put your hands behind your neck. You got to use your core to come up. So you're coming up, right? Holding your abs. You're not using your neck. You're using your core, your abs. Okay. Let's get into some more we can do on the floor. Now, if you're not used to moving, then you might want to use some elastic resistance bands to assist you. You can put it under your heel, right? You can use it to pull your leg up if you're not used to moving, or if you are used to moving, then you can pull it up on your own, right? And then you can get to where you move both legs up, right? And then another thing you can do is, remember, there's 3 sets of 10. Or you can hold it for isometric. You can hold your abs for 30 seconds for isometric, right? You can do pelvic tilt, where you lift. This is for your buttocks and your abs. You can hold it for 30, or you can do 3 sets of 10. And you're going to feel it. So don't think you won't, because you will. You'll feel it. And then when you get really advanced, you hold your abs in and you slowly move your feet out, holding yourself up so your feet are down. That's when you get more advanced. So then that's more tension and that's a little harder, but that's one thing you can set your goals to get to. Now, another thing you can do, you can lift up your knees, right? Make sure you hold your abs in. You can lift them up. You can't go too high. You go where you can go. You get higher, right? You get all the way up, right? Now, while you're here, you can open up. This is for the inner thigh. So you can open your leg and you just open and close. That works this inner thigh area right here, which a lot of us had it. I had it too, but this is definitely helping. I don't have all that meat there that I used to have. So this helps with that. Okay, now another thing you do, you can stretch your legs out. You can open the same way. That helps for the inner thigh, right? You can open and you can close, right? Now, when you get a little better, you can open and close by lifting, holding your abs in, and then you can do scissors, right? Crisscrossing, holding your abs in, 3 sets of 10, right? If you have a hard time, then do 3 sets of 5. The most important thing is just to get started, right? Now, another thing you can do, which is actually really good for your back too, you can lower your leg to one side, right? And remember, when you do these, make sure you do it on both sides, not just one, both sides. So if you can't go all the way, you go where you can go until you can get all the way, right? That is good for your back. Now, another thing you do is put them together and go to one side, right? This is really good to stretch out that back, right? So if you can't go all the way, go where you can go until you can go all the way. And remember, it's both sides. I'm just running through them so you know what to do. But you got to do them for both sides. And it's for these love handles. Remember, you get all this rolled up on the side. That's what this is good for love handles. So you go from side to side, and that takes care of that. Now, another thing you do, turn over on your back or your tummy. Turn over, and what you want to do is you want to raise your heels up, right? So if you can't go all the way, go where you can go until you come all the way up. This is good for that back fat. It's good for the back of the buttocks and the back of the thigh. So if you have knee problems and you can't go all the way up, just go where you can, where you feel comfortable. At least you're doing the exercise. Okay? This is a good one for that. Now, let's go to some standing. Remember I said I'm going to give you some, but you do lying, sitting, and standing. So, what you need to do here is another thing I want you to do is practice holding yourself up on one foot to balance, right? Like so. So, until you get really comfortable and stronger to where you can do that for at least 30 seconds, then have something you can hold on to like your dresser or something stable until you get used to it so you can stand. Because what's happening is your buttocks and your thighs and your abs are working for you, right? So this is how you can do it. And do it on both so you get a stronger core, right? So you want to do that. So practice that because that helps. Now, another thing you can do, and a lot of things I do when I brush my teeth, is I go up on my toes, right? Actually, it's the ball of your foot. So you want to lift up, and you can do that while you brush your teeth. So if you can't go all the way, go where you can go until you can go and then go higher, right? So you can go low while you brush your teeth, then you can go medium, right? And then you can go even higher. Until you get your balance together, you can hold on to something like a kitchen sink, bathroom sink, or something like that while you're brushing your teeth. But this is for your calves when you go up. So this is a good one to do too. Now, another thing you can do is when you're holding on to something secure, like you dress or something in your bedroom or couch in your living room, and you can do leg lifts. Just start low till you can go medium until you can go all the way. Right? And remember, everything is holding in the stomach, and you're going to do it on both sides. Right? Remember that. Now, another thing I like to do you can get some weights, right? And you start marching. You know, get your arms going, you can march little, march medium, then you can march high. Right? You get the weights. Now, if you don't have weights, so what? Get a water bottle. Right? Water bottle, canned fruit, whatever. You don't have to spend money to exercise. You don't have to go out in the gym to exercise. You just have to get the moving. Right? Now, another thing I want to show you about, these are I call them standing sit-ups, where you have your feet apart, and you're going to go down, and you're going to eventually touch the floor. If you have back problems, make sure you move slowly so that you don't get back spasm. Okay, so what you do is you're going to go down slowly. So anyway, you're going to go down and touch the floor. Okay, so anyway, when you go down, you're going to touch the floor. If you can't touch the floor, you touch the calves, but you go where you can go, right? So gotta go to your knees, and that's all you can go to. Then you go to your calves, then you go to your ankles, then you go to the top of your feet, and then eventually go to the floor, right? And then you mix it up by going to the side. This is also good for those low handles, right? So you go to the middle, you go to the side, right? Hold on just a second. squat. So now we have the squats as well, right? So you spread your feet apart, and you want to just go down. If you have knee problems, then you want to go back in a sitting position, because you want to take that pressure off your knees. So you would go like that, go down, just like you're sitting, right? If you have knee problems. And then you go where you can go, whether it's here, 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 it doesn't matter. Just go where you can go, right? Go where you can go. Now, also what's important, we're going to do some sitting exercises now. Okay, so while you're sitting, there's a few things you can do. We have the same thing. Let's do, I call them chair sit-ups, right? It's the same thing. You go to the middle, then you go to the side. Middle, and you mix it up, right? 3 sets of 10. Or you can do 3 sets on each side and in the middle. You can't go all the way and go to your calves. Go to your ankles, calves, ankles. Wherever you can go, as long as you get the movement. Because the more you do it, the better you get, and your stomach will get smaller. Because we want to get rid of the stomach, because that's where the worst unhealthiness is around our abdomen. So we want to get rid of that stuff. Now, another thing you can do, you can do what I call, you can open here like we did sitting in line. You can do the same thing here. You can do this sitting. You open, this is for this inner part, right? So then you're opening and you're closing. Kind of like with the Thigh Master machine they had you doing, opening and closing, right? Okay, so then you can do what I call toe marching when you're doing lifts. Lifting up and down. You can alternate. Then you can do both. You can do that for several minutes, right? And then you can get your arms involved with your weights or your bottles. You know, while you're doing this stuff, you can do that. You can also do lifts. You can do individual lifts. You can do double lifts where you lifting like this, right? Remember, holding your abs because you're going to work your abs. Keep your back to the back of the chair, right? Keep your back to the back, and lift your legs, and holding your abs. And you can lift, right? Do 1, 2, and you do 2 at the same time, right? Another thing you can do is the 3-point lift where you go up, and you go out, you go up, and you go back down. So up, out, up, and then back down. So you can do that too. Now, to get some of the arms involved, you can get one of the resistance bands that's high in the middle. And what you can do is, the further you pull it apart, the more resistance you have, right? So you can start doing curls, right? For your arm, you do curls. And then you can put one down and have one up this way. You can do that too. Make sure you're supporting your arm on some type of armrest if you're new and you're beginning. Because then your arms will get tired. So you can do it like that. You can stretch apart. Circles, right? With your wristband. You can do that. You can stretch out. You can even hold it for like 30 seconds. Isometrics, right? You can go back in and hold it out again. Don't think it doesn't work, but it does. You'll feel the burn. It does work. Now, if you want to be dealing with your back of the arms, you can go up some and you can stretch it. You can go up, or you can get the water bottle and you can do the same thing. You can stretch it out, come back. So it does work. These are some of the exercises you can do. And then you can also do your marches, your lifts, and you can have your arms moving. While you're marching, you can have your arms moving, right? You can move your arms, you can curl your arms, you can do it with your lifts. move out at the same time. Now another thing I wanted to show you is a little peddler. Now, also while you're sitting, you can do your scissors like this as well, right? The crisscross, you can do the ups and the downs. Those are things you can do while you're sitting. Now this, Power's coming back. You get your favorite show, and you know you're going to be watching Power, right? If not, you watch whatever your favorite show is. So, these little peddlers, it counts how many steps you do. It has a resistance point on it so you can make it more difficult. If you have problems with your knees, you can scoot it back further so your knees don't have to come up so far. And you can be watching your show while you're doing your exercise. So after about a couple of commercials, you know how good it is, right? You'll be anywhere from 30 minutes. And if you do the whole show, that's a whole hour. You didn't even know he was working because you're watching your show, right? So when people tell me, oh, I don't have time, I can't do these things, yes you can. You take time out to watch at least a show for an hour. So yeah, you can do these things. And when you're stressed, what I want you to do is start exercising. Don't overeat. If you're going to eat, get fruits and vegetables. Carrots are great with ranch dressing, celery. These are some good snacks you can eat that won't put a bunch of weight on you. So, if you're stressed, just start exercising. If you can't sleep and you're restless, get up and exercise. That makes me go to sleep. If I can't sleep, it's exercise time. And then it relaxes me. People used to say, oh, don't exercise at night. But if you can't sleep, you need to exercise. And it will help you sleep better. It'll also help your bowel movements. Because you should be going 1 to 3 times a day, not every other day. Check your children as well. You want to make sure that you're not overeating, which is how parents sit with your children. If they're already overweight, give them a glass of water first. Make sure they're not eating too fast. Because if you eat too fast, you're eating 3 or 4 or 5 times what you should be eating because you're eating too fast. So parents, you should be sitting with your kids that you have dinner all together. Now, if you want to contact me at healthyliving.company. It's my website. You can also send me a message at Next Level Studios here, where we are at 310-549-1113. 310-549-1113. Also, you can send me a message. You can call me and leave me a message. The producer of the show is T-Jam. That's TJAMZ. And you can reach him at tjamsmusic.com. Gary has a list of songs you can write lyrics to and send it back to him, send him messages. He also does web design. So you can also reach him here at the Next Level Studio at 310-549-1113. So I want you guys to stay safe. Stay safe. How much? 10. Okay, so anyway, let's talk about when you go out into the public. So, remember what I said, when you go out into the public, I want you to wear your mask, right? Make sure, what's most important, you do your hands like this to fit it. Make sure your nose is covered. There's too many people walking around with their nose uncovered. They put the mask up under here like this. Now you know you can get coronavirus from exhaling. Yes. And you can also breathe it in through your nose. So cover your nose. If you're having problems keeping the mask up in the proper location, you need a larger mask. So get a larger mask. The other thing what I want you to do is get you some goggles, the kind that don't fog up. because the coronavirus enters into the eye mucus membrane, which is the conjunctiva. That's how we get the pink eye, right? So it enters into the eye as well. So get you some fog-free goggles. See how it fits around the eye? It's eye protection to prevent the virus from going into the eye. So you need that as well. You know it's airborne, so you need protection for your eyes. It's proven research that nurses have contracted the coronavirus through their mucous membrane in their eyes. So you need to cover your eyes, you need to cover your nose, and you need to cover your mouth. So whenever you go out, that's what you do. And remember, if you don't have a mask, you can make a mask. It's easy to do, even if it's napkins. Just double it up. Remember I showed you. You just need a square. So if you don't have the money to buy a mask, you don't have to worry about it. You can get an old t-shirt and cut out the bottom of the t-shirt. All you need is a square. You just need a square piece of material like this. Depending on what size you want your mask. Fold it in half. Fold it quarters down on each side. Right? Fold it down. Right? Then you take your elastic bands or your rubber band. You put it on the end. Take the other one, the elastic band and rubber band, put it on the other end, you fold it over into the middle, like so, right? You grab the band, the elastic part, and you put it on. And you have a mask that didn't cost you anything. So there's no reason not to wear a mask. There's no reason not to cover your eyes when you go out. If you want, you can also order some gloves so you have your hands covered if you want. You can do that too. Make sure that you take a bottle of waterless soap with you that you can carry with you. So if your hands get sore, you can quickly clean them. Or if you're not sure, then just wash them anyway with the waterless soap. Just be mindful with this stool, if you have to change a dirty diaper, then the waterless soap is not going to help you because the E. coli bacteria is too large. So the waterless soap will not kill that bacteria. So you want to go to somewhere where you can have soap and water and a lot of friction, because that's what's important about washing for 20 seconds. It's that friction that you're doing when you're doing the movement. And then if you have long nails, like I need to cut mine, you want to make sure you get a brush and brush under your nails, because you want to keep them clean, because viruses and bacteria can linger under nails. So you want to make sure you keep those clean. When you get your goggles, make sure that they're the clear kind, not the kind that has shade in them. You want to be able to keep your vision clear. So a lot of times people think that these are my glasses, but they're goggles. They're eye protection. And remember, you want to get the goggles that are indirect vent, meaning there's an opening there, but it won't flow directly in. Or you want to get the kind that's not vented to keep anything from coming in. Okay? So I'll see you in about a couple of weeks. But in the meantime, I want you to wear your mask, wear your goggles, get you some goggles, get some for your children. Children under 2 can't wear masks, so you want to be mindful not to take your kids out if they can't wear a mask. This is too dangerous. You want to make sure that you only celebrate with the people in your household. If you bring in family 2 or more than 3 outside the house, not inside, and only 2 hours max. Stay safe. Also, if you want to contact me, you can reach me at healthyliving.company, which is my website. If you missed the broadcast, tell your friends and family to watch anytime. You can go there and click on the previous show link. I also have pizza's egg toast and gumbo. Send me a message if you want it fresh so I can make it fresh for you. Also, there's the Argon products. You can click on my link and go shopping. There's T-Jams, the producer. You can reach him at tjamsmusic.com. There he has a list of songs. You can write to lyrics to him, send them back to him, send messages. He also does web design. You can also reach him here at the Next Level Studios at 310-549-1113. 310-549-1113. Now, you don't have to take your mask off the top. People think they have to take their mask off the top. You don't have to do that. Leave it on. You might have to talk a little bit louder, but leave it on. So wear your mask, get you some goggles, wash your hands, keep more than 6 feet apart. Don't stand in front of somebody who's facing you, because you can travel more than I told you, up to 20 feet based on science. So protect yourself. Okay, I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Stay safe and happy Thanksgiving. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Happy Thanksgiving. Stay safe. Wear your goggles. Wear your mask. Get you a bottle of waterless soap. Take it with you. Wash your hands frequently. Stay more than 6 feet apart. More. That's what's very important. More. Just because somebody has a mask on and they're coughing and sneezing, you can still get it if you're within 6 feet because it keeps traveling. So move away from them very quickly. Quickly, because I told you in seconds it travels several feet every 2 seconds. So stay social distance. Follow the health orders. Stay safe. I don't want you to get COVID-19 and I don't want you to die. So stay safe. Protect yourself. See you in a couple of weeks. Okay, bye-bye. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm.